Hi, my name is Jack Gilbert. I'm a missionary with Send International. My family and I are missionaries preparing to go to Spain to plant churches that reproduce and to make disciples that make disciples. This video series is built out of a number of interviews that I conducted with missionaries in the field. As you watch, you're going to learn of the deep spiritual need in Spain. Spain needs the gospel. You're going to find out exactly what the spiritual condition of the country is and how you can partner with us to make disciples that make disciples. One of the things that we hear a lot when we talk about Spain, and we say, look, upwards of 67 or 70% of people in Spain say that they're Catholic, but when you start asking, well, when's the last time you opened a Bible or said a prayer, like, whatever, I don't do that. And you will it down to 15, 12%, and start asking questions about faith, and you get it down even maybe less than 1% or 1%. And so we say, we really got to go. And then people will say, well, hey, there's a lot of work to do here in America. And why is it important that missionaries go to Spain when they are historically considered a Christian country?
Well, first off, just missions in general, the statement that you'll often hear, well, there's a lot of need here in America. Absolutely. We don't need to disagree with that. And, you don't become a missionary because America has no needs. But Jesus's command in Acts to the disciples was to go, and he said, to Jerusalem and to Judea and to Samaria, but not just there, and to the uttermost parts of the earth. So if you're going to be obedient to Jesus and say we'll only reach Jerusalem and Judea, then you're just straight up disobedient. Right. And so to follow that calling, from our understanding of missions, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to go, but you could send. But you have to think of the Jerusalem, the Judea, the Samaria, and the uttermost parts of the earth. You have to take all those into consideration.
So if you're not going, you need to be sending or praying, one or helping, showing up occasionally, short-terming, whatever. But it has to paint a piece of the picture for a local church. It really has to.
And then countries like Spain, it's just then being educated on what the spiritual climate is here in Spain, where there are, it's a cultural thing to say that you're Catholic, but the amount of people that truly are Christ followers, we're not here to convert a practicing Catholic who's right, devoting their life to God through the Catholic faith. That's not our goal. If I hear that somebody is devout and seeking the Lord through Catholicism, it's not my goal to rip them away from their Catholic church. But it is our goal, just as it might be in Germany with a Lutheran, or it might be in England with an Anglican, who might be. That's all it is. It's a name, and it means nothing. There's obviously many Lutherans in Germany and Anglicans in Spain and England that have deep faith. I'm not trying to say that they don't. I'm just saying that somebody, or a Baptist in America. Right. Pick your denomination and pick your country. You can say, oh, sure, I'm Baptist. Oh, really? Well, when is the last time you went? Never. I've never been to church. But that's just a name, and so that's what we're here to respond to. And there is fewer followers of Christ, if you want to put it that way, in Spain than in several Muslim countries, if you really want to compare it in that way. As far as evangelical believers, you're dealing with like 1 in 100, whereas in the States, statistically, that would be 1 in 3. So if we're talking about there's needs in the States and needs in Spain, of course there are, but it's 1 in 3 versus 1 in 100. So you're also dealing with a lot more need. Are there hungry people in the States? Yes. Are there hungry people elsewhere? Yes. Are there more hungry people elsewhere than in the States? Yes.
I would add that, so we've been here 15 years now, and then before that, another 10 of my childhood. So without you having to know my exact age, I did cross the threshold of more than half of my life here. I have met in all of my circles, and we move around quite a lot. Our job has us going from one region to another. We meet a lot of people. I have met exactly 2 people who say I'm Catholic and own and use their Bible. Hundreds of people will say, yes, I'm Catholic, yes, I'm Catholic, yes, I'm Catholic. Or they might even use the word Christian. which to them means Catholic usually. But only in all of the people I've ever met in this country, only 2 have I come across who have a Bible and use it. Others might say, yeah, we have one. I got one when I was baptized as a baby, and I'll ask, where is it? It's on a shelf. Have you ever used it? Have you ever opened it? No, but 2, that's kind of staggering to me, and kind of brings the reality of the 60 whatever percent that claim the faith. Well, I don't know if they're claiming faith. They're probably claiming the cultural title.
Right. And growing up in the southeastern United States, I totally get that idea. I grew up Christian. I mean, I thought I was not Christian. I'm a pretty decent dude. My dad's a good guy. We went to church for a little bit. I'm probably okay. And just in that sort of, everyone's a Christian, and most of us didn't go to church. And where I lived, it was just part of the culture. And it wasn't until people came into my life that started investing in me and asking me, well, okay, but what does that mean to be a Christian? What did Jesus say? Well, I don't know. I don't read the Bible. Well, okay, well, let me read something to you. And kind of walking with me, that I began to see I'm not really a Christian. And so that one-on-one interaction, that 2-on-3 interaction was integral to my coming to the faith, that declaring the words of life to me. And then I could finally see, because the Spirit had been drawing me, that, oh, I'm not saved. I'm in real trouble here. And then that hope of, but you don't have to be. There's Christ. And so Spain makes a ton of sense to us in that regard. Simca was there, and part of my conversion is one of those people just slamming me with the gospel. Like, here, there is hope. There is life. You don't have to live this way and in this hopeless worry. So,
well, and part of the big calling, I think, to Spain is a matter of changing the narrative about Christianity. Because if you think of the most horrible things ever done in the name of Jesus, the Spanish Inquisition is oftentimes the first thing that people will think of, and that obviously happened here. And the Crusades, people slaughtering other people all in the name of Jesus and for the glory of Jesus, and just Franco's dictatorship up to 1975, where many people were killed because they were believed to be communists and so they're forced into Catholicism because out of fear. Spain's got this long history of abuses in the name of Jesus. And so the calling to minister to Spain isn't just to bring the gospel, but to bring a fresh picture of who Jesus really is. Because right. You've got a whole nation filled with people that will say, oh, I know Jesus. Yeah, he brings death and torture and oppression and hypocrisy. And so it becomes, to share the gospel here isn't just to talk about Jesus, it's to show Jesus with your life and let them see that the Jesus that you know is not the Jesus they think they know. And that ends up boiling down to, in many cases, just praying for God to give you miraculous opportunities to love them in a way that's supernatural, so they can feel and see this is something different.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that faith visible. I mean, that's what Jesus says, let your light shine before others so they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. And otherwise, like, how are people going to know that this is even real? I mean, Jesus came not just to fill our heads, but to fill our hearts and to transform us. And so I think that's a powerful thing, to come in, to proclaim the gospel, to live it out. And so it's an important work that you guys are able to do there. Just being faithful and following Christ on your own, not just.
My wife and I would love to talk to you about how you can partner with us in making disciples in Spain. You can contact us at jsgilbert@send.org. Also, you can learn more by visiting our website, bit.ly/GilbertsinSpain.